These 5 muscle groups disappear first after 60. Do these exercises to rebuild them. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology followed more than 4,000 adults over 60 years old and concluded that 78% of them showed significant strength loss in the same muscle groups, regardless of lifestyle. And the consequences are brutal. First come the simple difficulties, climbing stairs, getting up from a chair. Then comes dependence, isolation, and the risk of a fall that can change everything in seconds. The biggest trap is that this loss happens silently while you still think you're fine. That's why today you'll see the 5 muscle groups that disappear first after 60 and the exact exercises you need to do in your home to rebuild them. Before we start, please leave in the comments your name and the city where you're watching our content from. We'd love to know. Muscle group number 1, glutes. The glutes are the structural foundation of your body, and the bad news is that they're among the first muscles to weaken with age. This happens for a simple and silent reason. We spend more and more time sitting, and the glute literally shuts down when it's not required. From 50 years on, this process accelerates, and the result appears in daily life. Difficulty getting up from a chair, lower back pain, overloaded knees, and an increasingly hunched posture. What most people don't realize is that the lower back and knees often hurt, not because of themselves, but because the glutes stopped doing their job. When this muscle weakens, the body redistributes the load to structures that weren't made for it. Additionally, strong glutes are essential for balance and stability when walking on uneven terrain, which directly influences the risk of falls, one of the biggest causes of loss of independence after 60 years. The gluteus maximus is the largest muscle in the human body, and when it's active and strong, it not only protects your spine and knees, but also improves your ability to perform explosive movements and keeps your pelvis stabilized during any type of displacement. Glute bridge. A study published in the Journal of Physical Therapy Science demonstrated that regular execution of the glute bridge significantly improves hip extensor strength and reduces lower back pain in older adults, which is precisely why it's one of the most recommended exercises for this population. The exercise requires no equipment, doesn't overload the knees, and can be done on the floor or bed, making it accessible for any fitness level. To perform, lie on your back with knees bent and feet flat on the floor at hip width. Contract your abdomen slightly, press your feet into the floor, and lift your hips until forming a straight line from shoulders to knees. Hold 2 seconds at the top with the glute contracted and lower slowly. The movement should be controlled in both phases, and you should feel intense contraction in the glute, not the lower back. The main errors to avoid are lifting the hips beyond necessary, hyperextending the lower back. The glute contraction should be clear at the top of the movement, and letting the knees fall inward during execution, which diverts work from the glute and overloads the knees. Keep feet firm on the floor and knees pointing in the same direction as the feet throughout the movement. Do 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions with 1 minute rest between them. Contraindication: acute pain in the lower back or hip, or post-operative hip replacement. In these cases, consult a physical therapist before starting. Step up. The step up is a functional exercise par excellence because it reproduces exactly a movement that happens in daily life. Climbing a step. For those over 50 years old, this is a great advantage because strength gains occur in the real movement pattern, strengthening glutes and quadriceps simultaneously while improving balance and proprioception. Proprioception is your body's ability to understand where it is in space, and it naturally decreases with age, which increases the risk of trips and falls. To perform, position yourself in front of a sturdy step or moderately high step. Step up with one foot, place it completely on the surface, and push your body up using exclusively the leg that's on the step. The lower leg should not give impulse. Step up until fully extending the knee, then descend in a slow and controlled manner. The most frequent error is using impulse from the lower leg or letting the torso lean excessively forward during the ascent. Keep the knee aligned with the second toe and the core lightly activated throughout the movement. The controlled descent is as important as the ascent, as it works the eccentric phase of the movement, responsible for a large part of muscle growth stimulus. Start without weight, and as you gain confidence, hold light dumbbells in your hands for progression. Do 3 sets of 10 repetitions per leg. Contraindication: knee pain, chondromalacia, or recent surgery. In this case, reduce the step height or substitute the exercise. Now let's move to the second muscle group that disappears rapidly. Muscle group number 2, quadriceps. The quadriceps is, without exaggeration, the muscle of independence. It's responsible for extending the knee, and it's impossible to get up from a chair, descend stairs, or walk on uneven terrain without it functioning well. The problem is that strength loss in the quadriceps happens gradually and insidiously. It's estimated that after 50 years, the muscle can lose between 1 and 2% of its mass per year without adequate stimulus. This loss is rarely noticed immediately. It happens silently until the person finds themselves needing support to get up, avoiding stairs, or stopping going out for fear of falling. Studies indicate that quadriceps weakness is directly associated with increased risk of falls and loss of autonomy in the elderly. More than aesthetics, strengthening this muscle is a long-term health decision. It's what will determine whether you can still make your own choices about where to go and what to do 10 years from now. Wall squat. A study published in the European Heart Journal in 2023, conducted by researchers at the University of Colorado, revealed that isometric exercises like the wall squat reduced blood pressure more effectively than conventional aerobic exercises, a finding especially relevant for people over 50 who frequently deal with hypertension. Additionally, being an isometric exercise, it keeps the quadriceps under constant tension without joint impact, making it a very smart option for this population. To perform, lean your back entirely against the wall, slide down until your knees form an angle close to 90 degrees, as if sitting in an invisible chair. Keep feet at shoulder width, knees aligned with toes, and arms relaxed along the body or crossed on the chest. The most common error is not descending to 90 degrees or letting the knees go too far beyond the feet, which can overload the joint. When well executed, you should feel intense burning in the quadriceps, especially in the region near the knee. Hold for 20 to 45 seconds initially and progress to 60 to 90 seconds over the weeks. Do 3 sets with 1 minute rest. Contraindication: acute knee pain or ligament injuries. In this case, reduce the flexion angle or consult a professional. Bulgarian split squat. The Bulgarian split squat is a unilateral exercise, meaning it works one leg at a time, which makes it doubly powerful for those over 50 years old. Besides strengthening the quadriceps with great intensity, it corrects muscular imbalances between the two sides of the body and challenges balance significantly. 2 critical points at this stage of life. It's very common for one leg to be stronger than the other, and bilateral exercises like the traditional squat mask this difference, allowing the stronger leg to compensate for the weaker one. To perform, position yourself in front of a sturdy chair or bench and rest your back foot on it with the top of the foot facing down. The front foot should be sufficiently distant so that when descending, the knee doesn't go too far beyond the toes. Lower the back knee toward the floor in a controlled manner. Keep the torso upright and the front knee aligned with the second toe. Rise forcefully, feeling the work in the glute and quadriceps of the front leg. The most common error is placing the front foot too close to the chair or letting the torso fall forward, which diverts work to the lower back instead of keeping it on the quadriceps and glute. Start without weight and, if necessary, hold onto a wall for support. Do 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions per leg. Contraindication: severe balance instability, intense knee or ankle pain. Prefer the wall squat in these cases. Let's move to the third muscle group. Before we continue, if you're over 50, take a look at this statistic. According to the WHO, between 28 and 35% of people over 65 suffer at least one fall each year. More than 70% of these falls happen inside the home. And today, falls are the leading cause of loss of independence among older adults worldwide. Many people blame it on bad luck, but in reality, it comes down to a lack of strength, balance, mobility, and physical preparedness. That's why our team created Biological Armor, a complete protocol for people in their 50s, 60s, or 70s who want to make sure they never go through that. Inside the protocol, you'll get a special home exercise program designed to build functional strength, real balance, and reverse years of poor posture and physical neglect without damaging your joints. You'll also learn the habits scientists have identified as common among the populations with the highest life expectancy in the world, habits that less than 1% of the Western population actually practices. Access it now by clicking the pinned link in the first comment of this video, or by pointing your phone's camera at the code appearing on the screen. Muscle group number 3, calves. The calves are one of the most underestimated muscle groups in the entire body, and also one of those that suffer most with aging. Research shows that the strength of the plantar flexors, the calf muscles, declines proportionally more sharply than most other muscle groups from 60 years on. This has serious and very concrete consequences. Stride shortens, fatigue when walking increases, balance becomes unstable, and the risk of trips and falls rises considerably. But there's a detail that surprises many people. Simply walking more doesn't solve the problem when the calf is already deconditioned. It needs specific stimulus. Beyond locomotor function, the calves function as a venous pump, helping blood return to the heart. A weak muscle in this region contributes to leg swelling, poor circulation, and constant feeling of tiredness in the lower limbs. That's why the calf is called the second heart of the body. It literally helps pump blood back to the heart against gravity. There's no shortcut. This muscle needs to be trained directly. Standing calf raise. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity demonstrated that adults over 65 years old who performed calf raises regularly for 12 weeks showed significant improvement in static balance and walking speed, two markers directly linked to fall prevention and maintenance of independence. The exercise works the gastrocnemius and soleus, the two main calf muscles, and can be done anywhere without equipment. To perform, stand behind a chair and lightly hold the backrest for balance. Rise onto your tiptoes as high as you can, hold 1 to 2 seconds at the top, and descend very slowly. The descent phase is where the muscle works most, so don't rush it. If you're on a step, let the heel descend below the step line to work the muscle in full amplitude. This extra amplitude is crucial to activate all muscle fibers of the calf. The calf is a muscle predominantly of slow twitch fibers, so it responds better to longer sets with higher number of repetitions than to heavy loads with few repetitions. The most frequent error is doing the movement too fast or not reaching maximum height on the ascent. Transforming the exercise into a simple sway without real tension. Do 3 sets of 15 to 20 repetitions. If it becomes easy, advance to one leg only. Contraindication: Achilles tendonitis in acute phase or post-surgery on the ankle. Await medical clearance. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Having constant access to science-based information is what will make you progress with health in the long term in the world of exercise. Let's move to the 4th essential muscle group. Muscle group number 4, core. The core is much more than the belly people imagine. It's composed of layers of deep muscles that surround the spine and abdomen, and its main function is to stabilize the body in absolutely any movement you make. Whether turning in bed, picking something up from the floor, or simply standing for long periods. With aging, the core weakens silently and progressively, and the consequences appear in ways that are often not recognized as such. Chronic lower back pain, difficulty maintaining posture, instability when turning the body, feeling that any effort overloads the back. Even more worrying is the direct relationship between core weakness and risk of falls. A weak core means the body loses the ability to react quickly to imbalances, and it's exactly this reaction time that determines whether a person will or won't fall when tripping. Training the core isn't luxury, it's the foundation of everything. Dead bug. A study published in the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy confirmed that core stabilization exercises like the dead bug activate deep stabilizing muscles more effectively, especially the transverse abdominis, compared to traditional crunches with significantly less compression on the lower spine, making it ideal for people over 50 years old, especially those living with back pain. The name dead bug comes from the initial position that resembles an insect with legs up. To perform, lie on your back with knees bent at 90 degrees in the air and arms pointing to the ceiling. Press the lower back against the floor. This is the most important point of the exercise and what guarantees the core is actually working. In a coordinated and slow manner, extend the right arm above the head while extending the left leg without letting the lower back lift off the floor at any moment. Return to center and alternate sides. The most common error is letting the lower back lift during extension. If this happens, reduce the movement amplitude or keep the leg less extended until gaining sufficient strength. Breathing is also fundamental. Exhale when extending limbs and inhale when returning. Do 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions per side. Contraindication: acute lower back pain. Seek guidance from a physical therapist before starting. Plank. The plank is a classic isometric exercise and extremely efficient for strengthening the core globally, including deep muscles, the glute, and shoulder stabilizers with low joint impact. For people over 50 years old, it's especially valuable because it trains the core exactly as it needs to function, keeping the body stable while under load or in movement. To perform, position yourself with forearms resting on the floor, elbows aligned below the shoulders and feet on toes. The body should form a straight line from head to heels, without letting the hips drop or rise. Contract the abdomen, lightly squeeze the glutes, and breathe normally during the position. The most common error is letting the hips sink, which overloads the lower back, or raising them too much, which removes core activation and transforms the exercise into a disguised rest. Another frequent error is holding your breath, which unnecessarily raises blood pressure. Those who have difficulty can rest their knees on the floor initially. This isn't cheating, it's smart progression. Start with 20 to 30 seconds and progress to 45 to 60 seconds over the weeks. Do 3 sets. Contraindication: acute pain in the shoulder, wrist, or lower back. Adapt by resting knees or consult a professional. And we arrive at the last critical muscle group. Muscle group number 5, rotator cuff. The rotator cuff is a set of 4 muscles that surround the shoulder joint and control absolutely all movements we make with the arm. It's called the forgotten muscle for a very simple reason. Almost nobody trains it directly, and strength loss in this region happens gradually and treacherously. With aging, the tendency is for the shoulder to become progressively tighter, with reduced mobility and pain when reaching objects above the head, when putting on clothes, or even when sleeping on your side. When the cuff weakens, movements that were previously automatic, grabbing something from the top shelf, combing your hair, fastening the seatbelt, become painful or limited. And the worst part, a shoulder without adequate muscular support has much higher risk of serious injuries, like tendon rupture, which in older people require surgery and have long and difficult recovery. Strengthening the rotator cuff is, above all else, preserving the autonomy of the arms. Front raise with light weight. The front raise with light weight works specifically the supraspinatus, which is the rotator cuff component most vulnerable to wear and aging. Done with very light load and controlled rhythm, it strengthens and protects this structure without overloading the joint. To perform, stand with a very light dumbbell in each hand. Start with 1 to 2 pounds, no more. With the thumb pointing up as if tightening a key, raise the arm in front of the body slowly to shoulder height. Don't exceed this line because above it the risk of joint impingement increases considerably. Lower the arm with the same slowness as the ascent. The complete movement should last about 4 seconds. The focus here isn't lifting weight, it's activating and strengthening a delicate structure that needs controlled stimulus, not overload. The most common error is using excessive weight, raising the arm beyond the shoulder or using the torso to throw the weight up, transforming the exercise into an ineffective sway. The slow descent is as important as the ascent, as it works the eccentric phase of the movement. Do 3 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions per arm with 1 minute rest. Contraindication: acute bursitis, active impingement syndrome, or a history of tendon rupture in the shoulder. In these cases, the exercise should be accompanied by a physical therapist. If you want to check out the best regenerative exercises practiced by the Japanese to heal years of bad posture, we left a video appearing right now on the screen showing each one of them better. Check it out there, and don't forget to also check our biological shielding protocol. Thank you for watching until here, and may God bless you, my friend.